Good morning and Sairam to all the students. Welcome back in your social science class. So after your exam, let's start the studies again. Let's take one of the chapter from social and political life. As we had already covered three chapters from social and political life 1, let's start our chapter number 4, key elements of democratic government. In our chapter number 3, we had covered the topic what is government, and in that topic we had covered about the formation of government, responsibilities of government, duties of government, the different departments of government, how the government works, what is the role of government. We had already covered these points, and everybody knows that our country India is a democratic country. Here the people has a right. Here the government is by the people, for the people, from the people. So you can say that our country has the equality for everyone. In this chapter also we will all study the elements of the government, that is democratic government. Before starting this chapter, let me introduce the one word races, because the chapter is started with one question, and there was an instance where Maya was asking one question from her mother about the races. What is races? How it arises? Why people suffer from this? And there was an incident where she read something about the blacks and the whites. Yes, racism is something a cruel, or you can say it is a truth in some society. Even in today's 21st century also, some states, some countries are suffering from this racism. You can heard about this blacks and white life, how the blacks life suffer. You heard in the newspaper also. Same incidents was happened in South Africa also. As in South Africa in the past, or we can say the before the South Africa become the democratic country, it has several races: black people, whites and Indians. Black people, the people of South Africa; whites who came there to settle down; and Indians who came as laborers and traders. So basically you can say in South Africa it has people of several races, but they all were not treated equally. The blacks, the whites, the Indian, they didn't have any equal rights or equal, you can say, equality in education, equality in getting some benefits, equality in religion. No, they don't have. They have to suffer with many problems because of their colors, because of their city, or you can say because of these racism. People of South Africa, as I told you, they have a different colors, so they have to suffer differently. The law governed by apartheid law. According to that law, the people who were divided into white, black and Indian, they were getting different kinds of benefits. These races were not allowed to mingle with each other. They were not allowed to live near, even they were not allowed to use the common facilities. Now you can see where we are getting the equality, where we are getting the equality in education, in opportunities, or we can say in every and each matter. There was no differentiate between poor and rich, and between religion, between different caste system. But that time in South Africa there was a racism, and the people were not getting the equal facilities and opportunities. Even They are not getting the small facilities there. As everybody knows that it is a right of a people to get treated equally, but that time in South Africa, ambulance meant only for the white people. Now you can see the very common facilities of ambulance meant only for the white people. Not only the ambulance, even the buses and the different vehicles and the bus stops are completely separate for non-whites and whites people. Even the non-whites were not allowed to vote. But in our country, in India, as we are a democratic country, every citizen who has attained the age of 18 has right to give the vote. But that time in South Africa, no whites were allowed to vote. Even the best lands were allotted to white people only. Now you can see how much the people suffered that time. And when the people suffered, they start protesting, they start doing things, they start they start doing the things for their rights. Same thing happened in South Africa history also. So this incidents I have taken from your NCERT book. One black township was the Southwestern Township. There Hector Peterson lived here, and he and his classmates joined the protest against the learning the Afrikaans language in school. That time there was two type of language, Afrikaans and Zulu. So basically the people, the black people, they want to learn their local language, that is Zulu, but the people in the dictatorship, they wanted that students can or the students learn African language, because that was the language spoken by the whites, because they need the blacks as their servants, and so they were teaching them the Afrikaans language, but the students wanted to learn their local language. So Hector and other school students were being forced to learn this language, but they wanted to learn their own language, Zulu. The South African police beat up the protester and shot at the crowd. One of the bullets killed Hector. This was on June 16, 1976. But yes, after this revolution took place. Everyone started fighting for their own rights. The African National Congress, a group of people who led the struggle against the apartheid, and their most well-known leader, Nelson Mandela, fought against this system. Nelson Mandela was one of the name which fought against this rule. After several years, finally they succeeded, and in 1994 South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. Now you can see the journey. It was started on 1976 and it was ended by 1994, and there was a huge contribution of a great leader, Nelson Mandela, in, or you can say, by becoming South Africa. With his contribution, South Africa became a democratic country in 1994. Now let's see the main key elements of the democratic country. What is democratic country? What you mean by the democratic country? As everybody knows that India is a democratic country where people has right. What right? Yes, the right of participation. How they are having a right of participation? Yes, they have right of participation through election. They can elect their leader with the procedure of voting. government are elected for a fixed period, as everybody knows that government are elected for the period of 5 years, and if the people thinks that the particular leader is not good for our country, they can change their leader with the power of their votes. Power of government gets limited by the regular election. So it's not like that once the king will be the king always. The people can change the leader by the vote of by the power of their vote. Now there are not only the way by election, other ways of participations are also there. So by taking interest in the working of government, yes, it is also the way to participation. In participating in any activity of the government, that people of our country are taking the interest in the working of the government. They can express their disapproval if you think that government is not taking a right decision. So you can also express your views of disapproval. Like these days, farmer protect, or you can say the farmers campaigns, dharnas, rallies are going on because the farmers are not happy with the decision taken by the government. So we are not saying that the government is right or not, but yes, the people of our country, if thinks that something is going wrong or something is going against their you can say rights, so they can express their disapproval. They have a right to express their disapproval. So they are protesting against the bill because they think that bill is not good for the farmers. Third, they can take participates in dharna, rally, strike, signature camping. It's just a way to express your disapproval against the decision of your government. So these you can say sometimes these strikes, rally, dharnas are peacefully done peacefully, but sometimes it is very violent. So it's just a way to show their disapproval to the government. Members of minority, Dalits, Adivasis also can take the participation or take participation in any of such kind of activities. So there are many ways to take part in the government activities. First, through elections, and secondly by taking interest in the government activities. Third, by expressing their disapproval by way of rallies, dharna, strikes, and everyone, whether the person belongs to the major community or minority, everyone has a right to express their views on the decision governed by the government. Now, need to resolve conflict. As everybody knows, India is a democratic country as well as it is full of diversity. So when there is a diversity, the conflict is there. So conflict occurs when people have a different culture, religion, region, economic background and do not get along with each other, or when some among them feel they are being discriminated against. So we had already covered our chapter discrimination and diversity. In that chapter we learnt about how the people from the different culture, what their demands, how the people started quarreling with each other. So same thing is there. People may use violent means to settle their differences, which is completely wrong. This leads to fear and tension among others living in an area. So it is a responsibility of the government for helping to resolve conflicts. because it happened when the people from the different community, different religion, even different background live together. Sometimes it happened the conflict occur, but it is a responsibility of a government to resolve that conflict in a best possible way. And conflict occurs because of the diversity, but it is a duty of the government to resolve that conflict. Similarly, sometimes second, why the conflict occur? Because of the religious possessions, sometimes the celebrations, you can see jaloo, sometimes you see yeah, in gurdwaras prabhat fairies, and different everyone, the person, those who are following the different religion, they used to join their different types of processions. So for example, they are going somewhere but other people don't want to see that, so it is a duty of the government or the police basically to maintain the peace between the different community, so no one can create the violence or no one can create the atmosphere of the fear by throwing the stones and try to disturb these such kind of religious activity. So basically it is a duty of the police and the government to maintain the law and order and peace among the citizens. So here in this session we had covered 2 to 3 points. The main point about the South Africa, how South Africa got its democratic, how South Africa become a democratic country, who was the famous leader that time, what was the incident that time, then what are the features of the democratic government, how the people in the democratic country take participation, how the conflict started. So these are the things which we had covered in this session. Now this chapter is not over. In next session also, or in next video also, will complete this chapter. Meanwhile, you just read your book, underline the main points and make the short notes, underline the main leaders, underline the main years, like Nelson Mandela. Read about the Nelson Mandela, search in Google to just get to know about him, who was he, what kind of leader he was, and search there and read your books. Sai Ram, students.